Good evening to all of you who are live and watching us this evening. We are grateful for you joining us today for today's session. Gideon Degbe, and I am the MD, or you can say President for YDP Ghana. And we began a series that would support youth development in different areas. We started with a session on the gig economy where we discussed about several ways that a young man or young person in Ghana can develop their skills and earn more, and also taking advantage of the economy to improve their lives. Today, as we promised, we will be we'll be taking some few lessons on financial literacy, and we'll be taking you from how to do some small money habits that will improve you without wasting much time. Let me just go on to do my presentation. But before that, I just want to appreciate you for making the time to join. You are welcome, and I know that you are interested in improving your life and learning and doing a lot yourself, which is why you are here today. And we appreciate you. Appreciate you. We appreciate you for making that. So let me just show my presentation and then we will take it from there. Okay, so here we go. Building smart money habits. This is the topic we are treating today on financial literacy education. So what when we talk about financial literacy, what comes to mind? If you like to share in the comments, kindly go ahead, share in the comments, share your thoughts, share your perspective on what financial literacy is all about. Um, when we talk about financial independence, when we talk about financial management, when we talk about understanding money, right? So just share your thoughts in the comment sections as as we discuss this and as we go on, and let's see how we can all improve our personal development and growth. Okay, I see Emmanuel Atolik. He says that we are ready, the journey to financial freedom. I like that. I like that. Yes. Good to have you, Iman. Good to have you for being here. I know that this session will be very useful to everyone that is able to make the time to be here. Now let's go into so like I said earlier, my name is Gideon Degbe and I am the head for YDP Ghana. YDP Ghana is a youth development project that empowers young people in marginalized communities through leadership, entrepreneurship, and community-driven initiatives. Okay, so our focus, we don't have any, specific focus, say we are focused on this individual, focused on this particular project. Our objective is to empower young people to lead, but also to do that, we also need to be able to empower them to be self-sustaining. For which reason, we are doing different projects that will empower these young people. Our focus areas in skills development, promoting financial literacy. This is one of the reasons why we are having this program here today. And ensuring access to clean water across the country and all marginalized communities in our country. Okay, we also mobilize youth to do some community cleanup exercise workshops and also do entrepreneurship support people. We also foster sustainable development and youth-led projects. So this youth-led project, when we enter communities, these young people come up with projects and we support them through we engage different solutions to address these problems in order to impact change in our communities, right? So that is what you develop, and we are doing this program in order to support what the young people who are out and also develop. You know, this is why YDP Ghana exists. Okay. Okay. So now our program covers a number of how do you call it, sustainable development goals, and this is some of our contributions to the sustainable goals. Okay, and today's session we hope that we aim to ensure that individuals are able to learn something to reduce financial vulnerability, which goes in. We also give this. We are also doing this to also promote quality education. Not everyone quality financial literacy education. So this is our way of contributing to this goal and promoting quality education through financial literacy education, which also satisfies or also supports SDG Goal 4. This also supports SDG Goal 8, decent to early growth. Now, this focus mostly or particularly on economic growth, savings and investment, and also help the young people who benefit from this session to grow, their financial habits. It also supports the economy from the grassroots to the top. Okay. Also, the last that we are aiming to is the goal 10, which is to reduce inequalities. We live in a country where the rich keep getting richer and the poor keep getting poorer. So, what are the steps that we can take to also, neutralize some of the difficulties we are facing here in our country, in our lives? Okay. So, these are the things. Into the session, what are we looking at? What are we expecting? Now, understand financial literacy. We hope that you get a foundation of financial stability, understand the difference between debt and credit scores, and how you manage your debt and how you improve your credit scores. By the end of the session, you'll be able to learn how to grow your money through some basic concepts such as stocks and bonds, and some of these minor concepts that we can understand and learn to help us build our financial development and freedom. How do we grow our wealth? This is something that mindset, cultural habit. There's a lot of mindsets going around individuals, especially in our Ghanaian setting. You have to be able to support certain group of people at that aspect. We also have to also learn how to avoid financial pitfalls in our in our in our financial lives. Okay, so we do A or B that affect us unknowingly, how to tackle these things. Then financial planning feature, we'll also talk about it. Then the role of financial institutions. We have banks, we have microfinancial institutions, we have other financial organizations. What is their role in helping us shape our financial development? And then we'll talk about, I'll give you, the fallout. Okay, so this is what you are expecting for the day. Now, understanding financial literacy. What is financial literacy? It's to understand and manage your financial resources efficiently and effectively. This is all about financial literacy. Okay, how you understand financial resources, how you understand your inflows and outflows, how you contribute to financial literacy, your ability to understand these things and manage them effectively and efficiently is what this is about. And this understanding financial literacy helps you to make informed financial decisions and debt traps, and also helps you to secure financial independence, right? So the topmost education is to secure financial. Okay, after you maneuver around settling your debt, after you maneuver around around, putting yourself into a certain standards. How do you become financially independent? This session actually, goes into helping us to understand and how to be financially independent. Okay, so that's that. I'm having a little bit of internet issues, so it's kind of delaying when I'm moving the slides. Okay, so we are on the foundation of financial stability and the basic of financial stability. Everyone wants to be independent. Everyone wants to be independent. Independence simply means, anybody being able to buy certain things, being able to afford, not being able affording certain things that you are supposed to, especially your needs, okay, and not having to rely on anybody or any policy or anything, or not having to go and borrow. Foundations of our financial independence. But what is the basic? How does it start? It all begins with one thing, which is budget. Is the basic for financial independence. And how does what is even budget at all? Budget simply means planning your finances, but your needs. Okay, let me just put it that way. Planning your finances well for your needs or meet your needs. In order for you to buy something, in order for you to, as you earn, in order for you to be able to still have what you have, you just have to make sure that you don't spend everything. You spend and there's some. But before you're able to do that, you need to budget. The budget gives you an overview, gives you a plan of how your expenses are going to be, how your financial resources are being distributed. Um, it includes your income and your expenses. These are the basics. Okay, your your income and expenses, a plan of how you are getting your money and how you are spending your money. Okay, one would say in simple terms, budgeting is making plans for your inflows and your outflows. Okay, that's how I want to put it, so you understand it better. Don't put big meaning to it. Budgeting is just simple. When you hear that the finance minister is going to read the budgets, you go and you hear how they are going to raise money, you hear how they are going to spend, they're going to make efficient use of the money that they are going to use or to develop this or develop their lives or improve the life of citizens. This is budget. It's that simple, and you don't have to burden yourself with it. Okay. So what are some of the things we need to look at when we are first, you need to identify your income sources. Then you list all the essential and non-essential expenses. Then you just list them according to importance. Someone will put it that you just do your scale of preferences. Which ones are the most important needs? Which ones are not the important needs? And you put them according, like I said earlier, you put them according to importance. Okay, and the ones that are very important, eventually you drag them out. Okay, but you just essential ones and non-essential ones. When I say essential ones, you put your needs, all your needs. There are sometimes you want to go and chill, want to go and have fun. We just want to go out and spoil there for everybody. We have this. We are young people and we enjoy a lot, but we also have to look at our financial lifestyle. And this listing and budgeting also determine where we go and where not to. Okay, now we also have to allocate the savings and investment, savings or investment. Okay, some can just do investment. Others can also do savings as well as investment. They can do both. Okay, they just put some into savings and put some into investment. You call it the savings. They want to call it investment fund, and then the investment they want to call it financial independence or wealth, anyhow you want to term it, but others do that. Okay. Now, or every week as you spend, you adjust your budget regularly. Okay. This is how you do it. So you adjust your budget regularly. Okay. So because you might spend somewhere that you are not ready for. You might spend on something that you are not ready for, provisions for, all this in your budget. Okay. Now, this is a recommendation when you are drafting your budget. It's actually the best practice you can adopt. Okay. The 50-30-20 budget approach. Okay, 50-30-20 budget approach. So when you have your salary, you put it into three, or you say three, you divide 50%. So we just do 50% goes into your needs. So you just put 50% as needs. Okay, when you are doing your budget, 50% as needs, and then you do 30% as your wants. Sometimes you want to chill, you want to go out and have fun. These are not things you cannot do without. Okay, these are things that without them you can still live life to the fullest. Okay, you want to chill, you want to go out for dinner, you want to go out to have fun with friends, you want to go out and chill and do a whole lot. Okay, this 30% is what you budget for, or that expenses is your 30%. Okay, some of you might want to bet, you might want to put your money into some betting investment. Please don't add it to your 50%. Your 50% is your rent. If you are paying school fees, your school fees, your transportation to work, and from work, and if you have to buy books and maybe a few things you need, utilities, your light, your water, and other things that you need that will sustain you, or things that are necessities. Okay, that is the 50%. The 30% are just some additions that support our lives. Okay, so the outings, the KFCs, the beaches that we want to visit, the fun we want to have. This is the 30%. Okay, and your 20% is your investment. Okay, so you've gotten your salary, you've divided into three. The 20%, if you have any loans to settle, the 20% goes there. If you don't have any loans and you don't have anything to settle, your savings, the 20% goes there. So 20% is more like the investment or uh, debt settling. Okay, you are settling your debt, or you are paying off your debt. So that is the budget approach that you can consider, or this is arguably the best approach to consider when drafting your budget. Okay, so now let's look at debt and credit scores. Let's look at debt and credit scores. Okay, what is debt? Debt is simply means an amount you owe someone. Okay, you may owe someone, you've gone to borrow something from someone. That is debt. Okay. Now we have two debts. We have a good debt and we have a bad debt. Okay, a good debt. When I talk about bad debt, I'm not talking about the one we use in accounting. Okay, but even in accounting, bad debt simply means the debt that we cannot recover from people. Okay, but this one we are talking about, when I mention bad debt, we are talking about a debt that you take or you involve yourself in and you find yourself wanting. Okay, debt you cannot pay, a debt that instead of using it to benefit yourself, you just use it to consume. Okay, so let me just use this phrase to explain the good debt and the bad debt. So never borrow money to eat. So this is a phrase I got from one of my lecturers in one of my financial classes when I was in the university. He kept telling us that If you want to borrow, never borrow to eat. It's different when you are hungry and you need some 10 cedis from a friend to support you, or help give you some 10 cedis to go and eat something. But you can't borrow 500 cedis and say I'm going to use to chill. You can't borrow 500 cedis and say I'm going to use it to party. How do you get the money to pay back? That is a bad debt. However, a good debt will be that you're borrowing the 500 Ghana cedis to put into a business, and in the end, you are going to get something on top, and you'll be paying the person. By the time you are done paying the person, you've gotten some profits that is even going to help you progress in life, or even get more, revenue to support yourself. That is a good debt. So that is the difference between the good debt and the bad debt. Now, keep this phrase and always use it as a guide. Never borrow money to eat, because it will always affect your finances. Okay, it will always affect your finances. Now, how do we avoid debt traps? We have to borrow only when it is necessary, and we must understand the interest rate and terms associated with whatever loan we are going to take, and what are the repayment terms. Okay, so you might want to go and take a loan from somebody, and he says that, okay, this money that I'm giving you, I'm taking it next week, and you go ahead and take it. You know well that next week you might not get the money to pay the person, yet you're going to take it. And as we speak, you are even going to pay about 10% interest on it, because it's an individual. Because I know our financial institutions take 30 plus interest rates on the loans that they give. Okay, some go as high as 35, 37%, and even 38%, and some even do 40%, depending on the loan you are going to take. Okay, so you need to be careful when you are taking money from people and when you are borrowing from people, because any wrong move you do, you find yourself wanting, you struggle, you might not even be able to pay your loan back. Okay, and that can stress you a lot. Okay, and this will have to on your financial life, your financial independence, your financial credibility. Okay, and that brings us to credit scores. Okay, credit simply means money borrowed from someone. Okay, I said debt is owing someone, or yeah, being you've gone to borrow money from someone, you owe the person. But money borrowed to be repaid later, you can also contact it called credit. Okay, that's why we have credit purchases. Okay, so you go and buy something and pay the person later. Okay, it's the same thing. If credit scores simply means that a system that measures your your credibility. Let me put it that way. Your credibility, or your trustworthiness, or your ability to repay back. Okay, we know of Momo. Momo, there's now Fido. There's one that have been trending these days on social media that I've been seeing. But what we have currently that is most popular is the Momo, the MTN Momo. I don't know if there's a loan app for. I think there's one Telesha Cash Loan. There should be, but I know of Fido. So these are the very quick ones we can get. The moment you type in, or you have it. I see. I know that about 90% of Ghanaian youth owe quick loan. You may owe quick loan one way or another. You may owe it and may have not settled it somehow, or you are waiting for some money be to drop in your account before you settle it. Some guys will even say, me too, I'm waiting for someone to deposit money and then they can deduct it till it's done. The more you wait, the more you are reducing your credit scores. They don't trust that you can pay certain amount of money at a given period of time. So they reduce how much they're able to give you as the time goes by. Okay, so we say we have given you maybe a quick loan has given you, say, 500 cedis they are supposed to pay at the end of the month. And then the end of the month comes, you don't pay. and you wait for, let's say, another 3 weeks, and you are still not paid, or maybe you just paid 100 cedis out of it, by the time you be done paying, they are going to reduce your credit rating, which means that they cannot give you 500 cedis again. This time around, they might reduce it to either 300 or 400, because that's what they think your level is. That's what they give you the money up to. For financial institutions, they fall on some of these credit ratings, because don't forget, the loans you are taking, some are from ABSA, some are from EcoBank, some are from banks. So you may think that it's just MTN having your data. You have forgotten that the banks are the one issuing these loans. So once the banks are issuing these loans, your records are in their data. Eventually, one day when you want a loan to maybe build or maybe do an investment, and you go to them, they are just going to fall on all these credit ratings to judge whether you qualify for the loan amount you are requesting for or not. Okay, so we have to be careful about our credit worthiness. So we need to build good credits with our friends. Okay, I know someone who has never paid his debt to anybody that he has taken money from. Okay, he takes it today from this person, he never pays, goes to the next person, he never pays. You can ask him 100 times, he will never pay. Okay, he keeps borrowing and keeps borrowing and keeps borrowing, he never pays to anyone. So he's never able to go to the same person twice. Okay, and that is because the person has destroyed their credit rating or good credit standing with whoever they've borrowed money from. Okay, you have to pay your money in time. What I do is that if I need any services from someone, any financial assistance from somebody, I know I can pay the person within 1 week. I extend it to 2 weeks. I make sure that I discuss with the person extensively to understand that I'll be able to deliver in 2 weeks. Meanwhile, I can deliver in just 1 week. So what happens is that when I get the money within the week, I just go and settle it. But if I don't get it, if maybe for any reason, I'm not able to settle it within 1 week, then there are days before the 2 weeks elapses, I might find, the money or whatever resources I have taken from people to go and settle before the 2 weeks elapse. So give enough room to the person giving the credit. Even if you can settle it, say you want to you are stranded somewhere, maybe in Accra, and you needed an ADAP to maybe pay an Uber rider or maybe buy something very valuable. You call a friend, say, Charlie, hala me some 200 cedis. I go take give you next week. Okay, you know that yes, next week you give it to the person. Add some 2, 3 days. Explain to the person to understand that these 2, 3 days you'll be able to pay, and ensure that you pay the person within 1 week, because in your mind you can settle the person in 1 week. Okay, so just tell the person maybe 3 days after, so that would be like 10 days. So tell the person 10 days. Meanwhile, you know that within 7 days, you'll be able to sort the person out. Just keep to this and ensure that you have good credit standing with all your friends, with financial institutions, with Quick Loan, with Momo, and all. Okay, this helps a lot. It helps to, develop good financial standing with anybody that you come across with. Okay. Now, the next thing we are looking at growing um, growing our wealth, growing your wealth. Okay. Or is it, yeah, earning and growing our wealth. Okay. So, what are the sources of income that you have? How many sources of income do you have? Are you just an 8 to 5 earner? Is it sustaining you? If it's sustaining you and you have enough to invest, you have enough to do other things, that's okay. We have people who get good salaries, they get paid well, they get paid enough. Okay, they can take care of rent, they can take care of their, utility bills, they can take care of their fuel, they can take care of their car loans, they can take care of whatever you can think of. They can take care of that from their salary and still save and still invest. Okay, so they are not stressed about the many many sources of income. But you, as a young person, are you at that level? Do you have a source of income that can do all these things? If the answer is no, then the thing is, the advice is you need multiple sources of income, multiple streams of income. You don't need just one. You need two, you need three, you need four, you need five. That all depends on how you make your time to get all these incomes to fall in. Okay. And last week we talked about gig economy. So if you missed last week's session on gig economy, you can, check the YouTube page, you can check the Facebook page, and get access to the video, the live stream that you missed, and watch it again on how to make extra income even in your work environment. Okay, so this will help you to make more income aside what you are doing, aside the 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 that you are making. I'm not saying that the 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 is not good, but I'm saying that if it is not sustaining, then it is best you look for other options. And like we discussed last 2 weeks, the gig economy, now we are in a gig economy everywhere, that we have statistics that shows that the gig economy is growing and growing and is forming larger parts of the workforce or the job market, and that everybody is just trooping in and doing a whole lot. You can also take advantage of that. Just develop your skills, your area of expertise, build on that and make some extra income. Okay. So just set what you know how to do best and just put value on it and make some small income. Okay. So as you do that, add it to your 8 to 5 income. You see that you have a little higher to support your rounds and other things. Okay. Now it is important to have multiple streams of income for your financial security. Okay. Imagine that you're doing 8 to 5, you lose your job, and you have a side hustle. The side hustle is going to sustain you until you have, another 8 to 5. But imagine you just have 8 to 5 and you lose that 8 to 5. How are you going to survive in the next few days until you find another 8 to 5? Okay, so it is very important to take advantage of the gig economy and the trend that is going in the job market. Okay, because it's going to be very, very, very helpful to you, okay, and to everyone around you. Because as you develop, people around you are also developing. Okay. Okay, so as we discuss earning and growing money, now we want to talk about growing your wealth. Now you have the money. How do you grow it? How do you improve? How do you sustain it? How do you keep it going? Okay. Now you need to invest in an emergency fund. You need to invest in your future. You need to have a future plan. You need to do something to show that you are willing to develop yourself financially, or you are willing to have your financial independence. Okay. That, for which reason you need to save. We talked about the 50-30-20 principle. Okay, the 50-30-20 principle is basically helping you to, you know, should I say, diversify your spending, but also responsibly and not lose out. Okay, so while you spend on other things, you also have money saved, and that others will just try and say, let me just focus on emergency fund. If anything comes up, I am there. Okay, this is the emergency fund. Others will also say that I need to save for my future plans. There's a lot of things you can consider when it comes to your future. Okay, for someone, a young person who is not married, you might want to save towards marriage. For a young person who wants to buy a car, you might plan towards buying a car. For a young person who wants to start building their own apartment or building their own house, you might work towards building your own house. So you might start saving toward it. Okay. But even first, you need to buy a land. So you might start working towards buying a land. All right. So these are some of the things you work towards, your future plans. These are some of the things you work towards. All right. Now we also look at financial independence. Someone will say, okay, I want to be financially independent. And how do you do that? you have to invest. You either start a business or you invest in maybe a product or a project or something that will bring you returns, and that includes your financial. That includes starting to do something for yourself when it comes to investment. Okay. Now, where do we save? We save these days. Momo has become very rampant, which is the easy and very common platform that we can just refer to when it comes to savings. All right. So for savings, we look at banks. They are the best place to go to when it comes to saving, but you don't usually get any better interest on your savings there. You get some five CDs, three CDs, one CD on your investments or your savings when you go to the banks. Okay, mobile money also gives you some one CD, 50% and some coins, or your savings there. Right. Investment funds, when it goes to, you get for investment funds, it's just more like, and you are paying into your, these insurance companies. Yes, you are investing into maybe your um, maybe life insurance or maybe car insurance or anything. These are all part of the investment. These are all part of savings for future. Okay, these are all part of your some practices that you can take to do your savings. Okay, and don't forget, you need a goal to save. You need to set a goal for yourself when it comes to savings. Okay, now when it comes to growing your wealth, there are certain things you cannot take out. Okay, certain basic things you need to understand. All right, maybe if you consult me, I'll do small services with some small fee, but that's on the lighter side. But you need to understand some basics. Okay, to grow your money, yes, you need to save, but savings just keeps your money the way it is. It never goes anywhere. There's a video I watched that talked about money falling into the account of a businessman or an investor. Money doesn't rest in the account of a businessman or investor. The moment the money drops, it flies. Okay, so you see someone who is very wealthy, very rich, and they tell you, I don't have money or I cannot give you so at this time. It's just because they are always investing their resources, to for expansion and for development and for more. And that is growing their wealth, growing their riches, growing their financial independence. And if you want to do this, you might want to consider stocks, bonds, and real estate. Okay. Now in Ghana, real estate is really a hot cake. And if you are smart about it, you can start something very, 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 how should I say, very, very small and grow. All right. So when we talk about stocks, what does it mean? Simply think of yourself as an owner of MTN. Okay, you own a piece of MTN, or let's say your company. Just imagine yourself owning a piece of the company you are working for. That is stocks. You can call it shares. Okay, so owning a piece of it. We all know that Tesla belongs to Elon Musk. Um, there was there was one time they were having a show, a conference, and this young boy, very small boy, very young guy, he stood up and he was asking question, and then he introduced himself and just said that he owns 1%. Did he say 1% or he would say one? I think 1% or something like that. Share in Tesla stocks. Is it Tesla? Yeah, it should be Tesla. Okay, and just imagine such a person, the kind of money you have. Because we know that these are not some kind of shares that you just be lying somewhere. Okay, so just consider yourself owning a part of a company. That is huge. Imagine you are a shareholder of MTN Ghana. Imagine you're a shareholder of Ecobank Ghana, because these are companies listed on Ghana, the Ghana Stock Exchange. Okay, but to own shares on these companies, you need brokerage firms. Okay, there are brokerage firms that you need to register with, and they will advise you on which company to buy shares from, or when they are ready to float shares, they will let you know when to buy them and when not to buy them. They will advise you how much to put in, how much not to put in, and all these things. Okay. So you need to, first of all, if you want to own a share in any company, you need to first register with a brokerage firm or someone who is a broker to lead you in negotiations and also lead you, getting these things done. Otherwise, you might end up investing somewhere you regret. Okay. Now, these stocks are the best places to invest. They have high risk, but also highly profitable. High risk because one time you are making a lot of money, one time you are losing everything you have. If you remember the debt restructuring that happened, was it 2021? Is it 2021 or 2022? 2021, 2022, thereabout. A lot of people lost their investments. Okay. But also, assuming the government was doing a policy that was improving some of this investment, they would have hit jackpot. That also reminds me to tell you that be careful of Ponzi schemes. We were here when we had the men's gold issue happening where people put in their money and thought they were going to receive, double of what they were investing in and all that. Be careful of these schemes and scams that take your finances away from you and they cripple you. Okay, be careful of them. You may think that, okay, let's forget about get rich quick. There's really no way in getting rich quick unless by inheritance or by maybe you've met some rich person who wants to will his properties to you. There's no way that you are going to get rich quick. Okay, there's no way anyone is going to get rich quick. We know that people who have started their businesses, the billionaires we are seeing today, started years ago, many years ago, 30, 40, 50 years ago. Okay, so you need to, understand that being rich and being wealthy is a process and it takes time. But also, you have to be smart about it. Don't think that it takes time, so you are just there and just moving. You have to be smart, be strategic. Okay, you can plan for yourself and say, hey, I set a target for myself. At this stage, I need to break free. Okay, you need to put all those things into consideration and establish yourself. When we talk about bonds, bonds are just money that is borrowed by governments or corporate institutions and they give you interest on it. Okay, this includes treasury bills or long-term government bonds, 2 to 3 years. Okay, but for the treasury bills, usually I don't advise people to do treasury bill, but that's also a way of ensuring your money. Okay, some people just put their money in treasury bills because they are saving towards a project. They are done saving. The time is not up, so they just want to keep the money safe. They put it in treasury bills. When the time comes, they go and withdraw and they use it for what they have to use it for. Others also just want to put it for safekeeping, however way you want to do it. But I can tell you that treasury bills does not protect against inflation, which is why I don't really encourage people to do treasury bills because they don't really save, they don't even protect against inflation, especially in our part of the world. In Ghana, our rates are so high and they don't even meet inflation halfway, or they don't even fight it any bit. So it's just an advice that if you want to do it, yes, you might consider all things before doing the treasury bills, provided it's the only option. It's the safest way to keep your money, but also because it's low risk and you don't lose your money, you get it back. Okay, okay. Now, real estate is a top investing. People call it how do you call it, cash cows. Yeah, you can term it as that because it takes time to get it. It takes time to develop. It takes time to arrive there. But I think you have to start gradually. Imagine that you have there's a place they are selling land for 15,000, and you have a chance to pay say about um, you have a chance to pay say about 1,000 or 2,000 or 1,500 every month to be able to get that land. And you have the revenue to start it. Why not just acquire that land over a period of time? You may not have all the money, but you may just try to acquire that land over a period of time. Wait for 10 to 15 years, resell that land, and see the value you get on the land. Alternatively, after acquiring the land, you may decide to maybe resell it or develop it. You build maybe a two-bedroom apartment on it, or maybe four-bedroom story apartment on it, and you rent it out, you make your money, or you sell it out, you make profit on it. So you start from somewhere. Now, when buying land, you also have to consider there are lots of land litigations. So you have to look for credible real estate agencies that will help land without problems. Because sometimes in Ghana, you can pay for a land that has already been paid for. If you are not careful, you just throw your money away. That's how people lose their money. They pay for land that has already been what be paid for. So I would encourage you that when you are going to buy any land or buy any resources, you consider that very, very well. Um, okay. So that we also talk about we talk about mindset. Yeah, that's mindset and cultural habits. I'm having a little bit of internet fluctuation, so my should I say my slides is delaying to show. That is why I kind of delayed a little bit. But mindset and cultural habits. Now, we have a lot of setbacks when it comes to developing our finance, or developing in the area of finance, or improving our financial development. Okay, so many things take place. So many things take place, and that includes black tax. This is one of the things that sometimes I talk about and I'm not so happy about. In our culture, we are so much fixated on, should I say fixated? We are so much on, I have I have given birth to this boy, he's old, he's grown, he's now working. He has to come back and take care of me as a parent. That kind of mentality and responsibility that a son or a daughter has to come back and take care of their family just because he's somewhere or taking care of himself or something. You just have to be conscious about it. See, I've been saying this, that your parents are responsible for your development. They are responsible for your education, responsible for your growth, responsible for your whatever, your development. So you are comfortable and settled. They are responsible for you, but you're not responsible for your parents. I have had this conversation with other people. Yes, it is nice to say that my parents have taken care of me, so I want to give them something, I want to support them, I want to take care of them. Yes. But we've heard stories where people are working in foreign countries, and they are fighting with their family members just because they've not been able to send them money or been able to support them in some of their endeavors. Don't let pressure catch you. Make pressure no catch anybody. Don't let pressure catch you. You are not responsible for anybody's lifestyle. You are not responsible for anybody's life. You see, some people give birth to 10, 15 children. They don't take care of them. And these children manage to grow and become responsible. And now they see family members asking them, come and help us, come and help us, come and do this, and they are all over. my brother, my sister, we are not responsible for any family member. We are responsible to ourselves and the family that we give birth to. However, you should also not forget to be appreciative. Okay, show gratitude for the people who have supported you in your journey of growth and development. Okay, just don't allow them to let their the black tax perception where a young person is responsible to taking care of their families and all of that. It drains you, especially when you are not in a position to support. Don't do it. Just set the boundaries, set the gaps, let them understand that you are not there yet. They should not, you know, burden you with, some of these things. And focus on yourself and develop yourself. I read a post sometime that I've been using a lot. It says that you're a young man in your 20s, in your 30s, you are developing yourself. Okay. You come from a very poor background and you are developing yourself. Imagine that you are being paid 1,000 Ghana cedis and you have to pay your utilities, you have to pay rent, you have to pay everything, and still send money to your family. How are you going to survive? If you want to break if you want to break the whatever what we call the barriers in your family or the poverties in your barriers to poverty in your family, you don't have to wait for you don't have to be focusing on this family and all these things that they are disturbing. Hello guys, I have to apologize. I went off and I think I am back. I'm sure you can see me well. I think the slides has kind of changed. Okay, I think I'll keep it this way. It's okay. So the next thing is to set goals. Okay, you need to set financial goals for yourself. That's how you are able to beat you're able to beat the system. You need to set financial goals for yourself when it comes to saving emergency fund. You need to set the goals for yourself. Okay. You also need to learn from financial hiccups. Sometimes we don't budget, so we just spend anything. Don't think that they are failures. They are just lessons that we take as we try to develop ourselves. Okay. All right. So we also have to be intentional about improving our finances. Okay, we have to be intentional about improving our finances. There is light out here, and I don't know if you guys are seeing me well. I have to adjust the light that I'm using a little bit. Um, oops, the sweat is high. Well, so that is about our mindset when it comes to finances. Okay. Oh, this is crazy. Okay, so here are some financial pitfalls to avoid. Okay, overspending, lack of budgeting, impulse buying, peer pressure, chasing unqualified financial status, chasing unqualified social status. Guys, just a minute. I need to take care of this. I'm sweating excessively. My apologies. I am back. There's light out here, and the the room, my studio, my personal studio, has become excessively hot. Okay, so pardon me. So avoiding impulse buying, this is one of the things that we can look at avoiding. Okay, chasing unqualified financial status. guys, we are going for a funeral and they're asking us to contribute 500 cities, 100 cities. I don't have that amount of money. I will not force myself to pay that amount of money. I'll pay what I have. If it's 20 cities, I pay the 20 cities. If it's 10 cities I can contribute that money. That is why contribution is usually done in a group so that you are able to, fit in. But sometimes you have group admins who would some way come and put your list and put the amount you have contributed. Because of that, you don't even contribute at all. Just go on the side and holler the person and say, Charlie, I don't want my name to show, but I'm contributing 10 CDs. They will list you anonymous. Okay. That's just by the way. Don't let pressure from your friends influence your spending. Okay. Also chasing unqualified social status. You're not a celebrity, you don't have the money to live a celebrity lifestyle. Just avoid all those unnecessary spending and just stay within your means. Okay. So set financial goals to track spending, live below your means, and also budget. These are some ways that you remain financially, disciplined. All right. So once you do this, you begin to notice that there's some form of changes that is taking place in your life when it comes to finances. Okay. I think this is becoming excessive. Okay. Now just look at the house showing in the slides. If you like it, you know that you have to, prepare yourself for something bigger and you start from somewhere. It's called the financial planning. If you want to own a house, you plan from somewhere, okay? Then you also need to start early in order to benefit from your compound interest because the moment you start, the more the benefits also, comes. Okay, all right. The light is off, the internet is being a little slow and playing around, and it's just making the okay. So we talked about real estate already. Someone they mentioned as we have the estate planning. That's basically to say that we should just plan for our homes and plan for our houses. Okay, the role of financial institutions. I know I mentioned banks and how they they help us to, develop ourselves. Um, they help us provide secure savings and investment opportunities. They also offer credit and loan facilities to support our financial growth. They also facilitate our financial planning services for wealth management. They also encourage financial inclusion and accessibility to banking services. Okay, so these are some of the functions of banks when it comes to our personal financial development and how we can manage our finances. Banks are very instrumental in this, and you can, if you don't have an account, just create a savings account with these institutions, and they will, support you on your way. Okay. So in conclusion, I like to say that you need to build smart money habits and then also budget wisely, save consistently, and invest cautiously. Like I said earlier, ensure that you are not involving in any, Ponzi schemes. Okay. So just take note of all these and support yourself well and build yourself well because trust me, you will not want to have a family that will be struggling, especially when you have children. So you need to start from somewhere and also improve this development. Okay, so this I recommend some books, with you. There's a book by Robert Kiyosaki. There's also a book by Ron Willingham, and also a book by I think two books. As you can see on the screen, two books by Robert Kiyosaki. The first one is The Business of the 21st Century, which is about setting up businesses and how to do business. The second is the 10 Laws of Wealth and Abundance. This teaches the basic minor things we do about rich and about savings and controlling our wealth. And then we have the Rich Dad Poor Dad, which teaches about money and how we make money work for us. Okay, thank you so much for making the time to be on this show, this live session with us. Share with your friends even after watching. Tell them to just watch and learn something new. I know that you have picked something, and just encourage others to join our subsequent sessions. We're going to start a series on um, sustainable development goals next 2 weeks, and we'll start with SDG Goal 1, and we'll let you know in advance. We'll share the links for you to join. Support or sponsor our cause. Support YDP Ghana. Sponsor YDP Ghana to lead a transformative change in our communities, or to empower young people to lead transformative change in our communities. You can call on WhatsApp us on 055 999 7095, and also help us. You can support us with anything that's, with cash, with, any way you can support us. Okay, if you want to support this stream as well, you can also check us. We all the time try to advertise you on this. Also, if you're out there, you need any advice, you need any support, you can also contact me to, give you one or two advice, make recommendations on financial institutions or real estate agencies with you, where you can do a thing or two. But also, if you need anything from my personal self, I'm going to charge you a little fee to, to offer some service. Okay. But thank you so much for being on this. And I apologize for today. It's light out in my studio. It's extremely hot, extremely hot. And the lighting system has reduced. And I apologize for that. But thank you so much for being with me throughout this session. I appreciate you. I see Tulasi was on it. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get comments from everyone who was on the show, but I appreciate you, Emmanuel Tulik. I also appreciate you, Samuel Tulasi, for making the time to be here. I see Hope. Hope Jose is also here. Thank you so much for making the time to be on this show and also learning something from us. We encourage you to share this with other people, and also tell them to, watch the previous ones as well. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening.